Hi, this is Shujin Wang, and I'm here to demo my storytelling website, The Atlas of the U.S. Honey Industry, which is a tool that helps people explore the honey production and the market. The first is an overview of the industry. In the States, we have beekeepers and bee colonies, and the market is very strong because every year the income from the direct honeybee pollination to agriculture is a lot, much more than selling wax and honey. The beekeeping industry is very accessible, and during the last 30 years, U.S. honey production had a decline, and professionals made efforts for years to save the bees. But what is the current situation? So first, let's look at the honeybee colonies. So this is a dot density map that shows where the colonies are. One dot is the southern colonies. You can hover to see the state name and the data number. Some node data here. And then you can drag the slider to see different years. I have 10 years here. So North Dakota and South Dakota always have the highest density of bee colonies, followed by Florida and California. And Montana is another major state as for the total number. Generally, there are more colonies in the north than the south. Over the past 10 years, the number of bee colonies increased slightly, but the spatial distribution rarely changed. However, as we have a 10% increase in colony amount, does that mean we can expect a significant increase in honey production? Over the past 10 years, there was a relationship in some specific years. For example, they both dropped dramatically in 2011 and both went up in 2014. However, for the 10-year trend, the honey production did not really increase. And since 2014, it tends to decrease. This is the result of a drop in yield. Those two lines fitted each other. As we now have a bad colony production and yield on the national average, does every state suffer the same? So then we come to the second section of production and yield. It's a car plus for yield and a graduate symbol map for the production. You can hover to see, and you also link to the bar charts. It's how the state ranks. The state you are pointing is highlighted, and you can also hover on the other side. That's the yield and that's the production. You can reach different years. A few states like Hawaii, Mississippi, Louisiana, Montana, and North Dakota maintain a high yield for over 10 years. Before 2015, Mississippi was the top one, and Hawaii became the number one after that year. In the recent 2 years, Ohio and Kansas have also made great progress. Over the 10 years, the states on the east and west coast didn't perform well. As for the total production, North Dakota is always far ahead of other states. States with more bee colonies generally got a larger production as well. So here I explain why states like North Dakota is perfect for beekeeping. But due to the planting of crops, the crops not only cut into bees' forage options, but also bring other stressors like pesticides. This could be why the honey yield decreased and why the colony are lost. Then we come to the next section. It's still a car plus, and you can hover to see the reasons of colony loss. You can toggle to different seasons. Over the past 2 years, New Mexico and Arkansas suffered extreme loss. States in the south and lakes generally lost more colonies, especially during winter. To most states, varroa mites are the most significant colony health stressors, and most half of colonies suffer from it. We have a seasonal pattern, but from April 2018 to March 2019, an average beekeeper in US lost 40% of his bee colonies, and then he had to add new ones. Particularly, the winter loss was 37%, which is the highest winter loss ever, and is 8.9 percentage points higher than the 13-year average. So that's significant because the industry has already suffered from a decade of high winter loss. While the honey production tends to decline due to multiple reasons, the demand of honey has been rising. Between 2012 and 2015, the consumption of liquid honey grew by 25%. Due to the growing demand and the weak production, the nationwide honey price has significantly risen. And how did that rise? So it's a hex carplet for the honey price in each state with different years. From 2010 to 2014, the honey price went up rapidly until 2014 when the honey production picked up. The honey price then dropped a little bit and increased slowly until 2018, and in 2019 the price just dropped a lot. Especially Virginia and New Jersey were always the first two states that respond to the rising price. And states in the southeast and close to the Great Lakes have higher honey price, and the highest price is 5 times of the lowest price. In early years, to make up for the shortfall in honey production, the U.S. has largely increased honey imports from other countries. Now the honey we import is more than honey we produced. We are the largest importer of honey in the world, so where do we import them? This is a flow map of honey trades. You can toggle from imports to exports. Our honey are mostly from India, Vietnam, and Argentina, which altogether account for nearly 33% of U.S. honey imports. And we also exported a small amount of honey to a few countries like Canada and Philippines. So that's to the end. It's a conclusion where I ask for production and conservation of bee colonies and the ecological environment. The whole thing is built on D3, and you can see this on my code. That's it. Thank you.